This is the electric motor on the Volvo. No longer electric. Welcome to OGS Mechanics workshop. Here we fix all type of cars, electric cars, combustion engine cars. Follow me for interesting jobs from our workshop translated in videos. Hello again from OGS Mechanics workshop in the sunny London. Today we've got an XC90 Volvo, petrol and also hybrid. This particular one has a problem on the transmission. We're going to run a scan, we're going to test it to see, because it seems to be quite bad on driving and engaging, taking off, very bad. Now the car has about 50,000 miles, just under 50,000 miles, and has developed this issue all of a sudden. Let's go in the road test, let's scan it, and then we'll have it on a ramp, try to uncover, and let's see how this has to be fixed. Let's go. We are setting off in a bit of a longer road test as we got information from the customer. It's not only on a takeoff, it's only on a motorway drive where it changes from the electric to the combustion engine. So we want to replicate that fault. At the moment we have no faults in the rear differential. Let's see if we can trigger a fault. We can really experience what the customer is complaining about. So ready, steady, go. Start the engine first. It says no keys found. Huh? Oh, what is that? Look at that. Okay. Ready, go. Woo! That was I think this was a. Let's select the hybrid. Apparently when it's in power, car runs fine. When it's in hybrid or pure, that's where the problem it is. So we're gonna use it on hybrid, and then we'll see. Hey ho. So let's see now if we have anything, because it looks like we do. Okay. Alright, so clutch performance, video output, BCM, lost communication with inverter, rear axle. Okay. Let's delete all the faults for now. See if anything stays permanent. Okay. So those faults are permanent, they don't even clear. Let me turn the... Oh my god.
Got worse,
Huh?
yeah. The new one came in now.
This is literally not drivable. Basically, I had to switch off the engine. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna run the software update, and if the fault still doesn't clear, in there might be a hardware issue, because it's not when it starts to operate, it's permanent. So if the software update is not gonna fix it, then it's not even point, it's not gonna clear it, it's not even point start driving it, because we have a fault. So it might be a hardware issue from start. Let's see. Volvo, it's set inside with the power supply on, especially for the flash programming, which is important when we do a programming. We have the software available. Whether this is gonna fix our problems, those faults are permanent, so whatever we try to clear them, they don't clear. Now we are going to the software installation tab, and what we're gonna follow here is the IEM reload. Basically this is the electric rear differential. It looks like the procedure is getting completed. Both of the units have been updated. Let's see. This is the moment that will know how big this of an issue it is. Okay, the software has been installed in the vehicle. Now is the time that we're going to see. We're going back to diagnostics. Once this is clear, we have to see whether those are going to clear. If they're not going to clear, we know we are in for a big repair. Potentially the rear axle, as I said earlier, comes in two mechanisms. It's the electric motor, and then it's the mechanical diff with the clutch mechanism inside. So if those don't clear, let's see, because before they were not clearing. If they don't clear, we know for certain it's not even point to road test the car anymore. If they do clear, obviously we're going to take it in a road test to see whether the sounds good. So at least we managed to clear the fault, so it might be a good step ahead. So according with the bulletin that we had, the software update, so far it made a difference. So we managed to clear faults related with the rear diff. Now this is on the VCU height sensor, so we'll get to that a bit later. Might be calibration, I don't know, but a software update on the rear differential, it made a difference, at least so far. Back in a road test to see whether the problem is fixed or it just managed to get rid of some fault codes, but the problem is still there. We'll see. Software update is completed. Now it's time to rock and roll and see whether this has fixed our problem or it just helped us to get rid of some faults, but it did not make much difference. Time to test. If this has not fixed the problem, we are in for a serious job and the customer for expensive repair, because if an intervention has to be made to the rear diff, it's going to be expensive. Let's see. So far it looks alright, but we only had few stop-start situation and we could have put a bit of speed on it. So let's see when we hit the motorway and then try to do more deceleration and then accelerate. So far looks good. There is a bit of progress because we could not, no, it just did it. We experienced the issue after the software update has been done, and the only option we have is to start dismantle the car and see exactly what is going on in that rear diff. Now let's see how it looks from underneath, because we see how it is from the driver's seat. Let's go down. Volvo is going up the ramp to make a plan of action. I think a bit more. Here is the electric rear axle. Part of it is the electric motor, part of it is the diff, the mechanical diff. Now here we have the sump plug off. What we want to do, we want to drain a bit of oil to see what's the condition of it. So the rear axle works together, electric motor and diff, to spin the rear wheels. There's no prop shaft, and in the front we have the combustion engine that turns the drive shaft, and then there's a gearbox in here. So our problem is here. Let's see if when we drain the oil we see any signs of wear. If there's no wear here, it should be very clean, like honey color oil. Let's see if that's the case, or we're gonna see something. I already see something on the sump plug. Let's drain all oil. You see? Okay, I mean, it's not clean, but it's not the dirtiest oil that I've seen. Now, here is what we can see. Oh, yeah, something is broken here. So there are broken components inside, and here also the clutch. So something is definitely not looking healthy inside. Yeah, we do suspect it might be the problem with the mechanical side. Now, from what I see in the oil, something is not right. And what are we going to do now? We are going to proceed in removing all assembly, which is quite a big task. We need to drop the exhaust, then drop all the rear axle from the shocks, leave probably the brake lines, the attached, have it off so we can really split the mechanism and see exactly what we can see inside. But it looks like now we're having a direction for the cause of our transmission issue. So let's take this rear axle off and then we'll see after that. Quite a lot of dismantling has taken place to access the rear axle. So we had to drop the inverter. There's another heater, which are over there. It came off. We had to disconnect the subframe. A lot of pipes, cooling, obviously the high voltage that goes also in the front. We disconnect the shocks. And now we are ready. Calipers, they have to stay with the chassis here. I'm okay here. Okay, stop. Stop. The wiring is gonna stay with the chassis here. Okay, dokie. Oh my god, this is heavy, man. Oh my god. This is a big assembly. Thank you. Look at that. And now it's our challenge. So we have to take all this out because we need to strip this bit out of all the diff. So we have to drop the drive shafts out and then undo the mountings, take all the mechanism out and get inside. This is quite comprehensive. And to be honest, I don't think they built it for mechanics, because to get some of the brackets undone is such a difficult position. A bit disappointed about Volvo on this one. But anyway, now it's off. We're going to proceed with the rest. Because here is where we want to get. Because of the way the oil was contaminated, we expected we're going to see more damage inside, and probably this section has to be replaced. Let's see. How they thought about put some splines rather than put a hexagon to have a span on it. A bit strange. I mean, many decisions here are a bit strange. Why would you not put a hexagon? I don't know. The crane has been asked to the duty. So we're gonna hook it up because there's no way to lift it up. It might not be that heavy, but the position is it's very difficult to. Now the plan is to drop it here, because what we really want to access is the back end of this all section. So here is the motor, here's the section that we want to get into and see exactly what we can see, because our suspicion is that something has gone wrong since the oil was so contaminated with debris from the clutch mechanism. The magnet on the sensor, also a lot of debris, so something is going to look very bad inside. Oh. Let's see. Uncover. Ooh. There's a lot of wear, but in here there's a clutch unit. Actually, I think those two, they come together, so you have to undo this one. See the lot? A lot more. And this deposit here is from the clutch, because normally the unit should be clean. Yeah, all this, look. So, like the clutch mechanism here is worn out, and obviously that makes the engagement harsh. Now, let's put this on here. Should I take this part out also? Oh, okay. So this is. Okay, we need to take this one out. Take this one. Oh, oops. Okay, so let's make an assessment. Looks like a circlip or something. No, here, more. Oh, so this bit is actually the circlip from there. See one end, and this was the other end. This is becoming interesting, isn't it? I'm gonna take that out. Let me bring over the surprise. Wait a second. I was very quick, and I already brought it over. What is it? Oh, oh. Oh. Damage to the tooth. So we have some components here. We actually have all mechanisms. So look how this circlip should. This now becomes a bit more challenging than expected because we thought we only gonna replace the mechanism, but the problem is because he have the damaged tooth, have disassembly, everything. But that being broken, cannot say like that because once it's gonna be noisy, two might create damage on the new mechanism, or it could fail altogether, damaging the new mechanism. So at this stage, it looks like we need to replace the motor. I'm not sure if they supply that pinion separate. Need to find out. But here is going to be a challenge because the circlip is broken. So one end of this circlip here, because normally you should pull those two ends together to take it out. How do you see? Yeah, you need to pull them together to take it out because one of them is broken. It's going to be nearly impossible to take that one out without damaging more. So we're stuck. $3,000.
So it's 3371 plus that retail.
Is that the whole unit, including the one that we have?
No, that piece that you have is a separate part.
As a separate part.
Yeah. So what happens when you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what it is that if they fit this new ERAD, the 3000,
Yeah.
they fit that transmission thing anyway.
Okay, I mean, yeah, the 3,000.
It's damaged. You know where it damages it, and they just don't risk it, so they put that. So basically, yeah, it's 3371 plus the piece you already have.
Oh my God.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's big bucks.
It's just crazy, man. And I've just seen it, the circlip breaking like it's plastic. It's unbelievable, the quality on this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because that's what happens. The circlip broke and it damaged the tooth on one of the shaft. Okay.
All right. No
Cheers.
problem.
Cheers. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Doesn't look good. Another £3,000 for that bit because the shaft doesn't come separate, of course. So £5,000. Honestly, but how come the circlip break in pieces? This is absolutely look like it's plastic, man. Come on, I never seen anything like that. Maybe the casing to break, but not the circlip in 3 pieces. And then got into the mechanism. It damaged the pinion, which otherwise would be good. And then look at that, those bolts. How they break. So look, to take this casing out, there are some special bolts which is gonna hold the connection to the way it gets. I mean, that's how everything is built nowadays. For a tiny part, you're gonna replace whole component, massive component. But obviously it's not something unforeseen, unseen. So just want to see how the shaft is at the back, because to me this looks like it's the rotor. Is also the rotor part of the engine that in here gets inside into the diff and drives the diff. But it's honestly the design, it doesn't look that bad, because for something like that you have to end up replacing the whole lot, which is cost about £5,000 plus, and all of this comes with a failure of the clutch. Yeah, starts from this, the circlip broke, then damaged the tooth. Classic never dies. We expect here to be the connectors bolted onto the stator of the motor. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. Okay, position sensor, magnetic sensor. Try to move them. Okay, there's a bit of wiring here. Disconnector. It's also a magnet, isn't it? This is the electric motor on the Volvo. No longer electric. All stripping bits. Look at this. What's this rust, man? How green is all this when it breaks like that? Look at the bolts. Anyway, because of a broken tooth here, of course this does not come separate because it's part of the shaft. Everything has to be replaced. How convenient. Mileage 50,000 miles. We want to dismantle up to the last bit. Volvo is dismantled, the rear axle is in bits. And here are the key components and what exactly we are going to do. This control unit, which is basically the inverter for the rear axle, was saying something is not right. Well, as a driver, we noticed with clunky under gears and sometimes it wouldn't rev up properly. After checking more in details, we obviously decided to have it stripped. This is the mechanism that we had to replace. We've seen a broken clip. And our biggest issue here, it was that this gear has been damaged. So the clip that broke here, it might have got into the teeth of the mechanism and it broke. And that part is not replaceable. It only comes with this, which is a heavy thing, which is the rotor that comes with the stator. Altogether, they form the electric motor. An expensive item, which we've got it. This is a massive cost, which has been added to the repair only because of some damage, but obviously could have not been left it like that. So hopefully this is the right part and we will start putting this Volvo together. Let's see. Okay, should we take all this off from here? Nice and shiny. I bet it's gonna be like that. And in the end, all of this, because how much does it cost to replace a circlip? We'll find out later. Oh. Okay, that's one thing. Because I think It has some oil in it. Anyway, you're gonna have new oil. Yeah. Now is the time to assemble the mechanism. And the next thing yes, sir. Oh, a little bit. So this is the bit that we had to change because of a slight crack on the tooth here. But it is what it is. So we have the motor, we have the clutch mechanism, and we might missing two guides that they should help to line the gaskets and the housing. Don't have them. So much money and we don't have the gaskets, the guides. We have to pull them out from there. Yeah, those two. Oh my god, we're gonna take them out. Okay. Ne хотів до screwdriver. Це чи сюди один листа? The diff is now fully assembled and it is the time to secure it back on the subframe. One thing that is very important to draw attention, those diffs, the mechanical side of it, it has oil and it has to be serviceable at every 50,000 miles. So very important. It has a drain plug here and a filling plug here. It takes about probably just under a liter of oil, and this is the oil that it should be used on those differential. Very important because it can make a difference in the lifespan of the diff. Anyway, now we have a new component, completely assembly, so ready to go back on. So, The diff is now back on the subframe, ready to go back on the car. But before we go on the car, we have to connect the drive shaft and the suspension elements. Rear subframe is completely now. It's the time when we're gonna drop the car, secure the subframe onto the car, and here is gonna be a bit of a fiddly job because some of the components we have to connect from the back, like the air lines, the connector. So we're only gonna secure the rear side of the subframe, leave the front out a bit lower so we can connect all the wiring and air lines. Let's get on. We managed to connect everything on the top, so we just lower it enough so we have access to connect all the wiring, air lines, and then we are ready to connect the subframe to the car. Kosti, let's go down. A bit more, bit more, bit more, bit more. Yeah, that's okay. I think we have to pull it a bit more towards you. It's moved slightly. Let me see. Yeah, no, and a bit more to the front. Yeah. Okay. Need to put a plate, yeah? With the plate, yeah? Voila, the subframe is back on the car now. With the subframe back on the car, is the time to put the inverter, the cooler, and then the brackets, the plate that holds everything in place. So soon we're gonna have all the components back on it. Volvo, it's all together. The last thing is to top up the coolant because we have lost some fluid when we drop all the electrics of the rear diff, and then soon we're gonna take it out. This is very important. It takes a special antifreeze being part of the electric system. So ready to go in a drive test. We have erased all the error codes, especially in the electric rear differential, inverter electric rear axle, no error codes, and we are now ready to go in and road test. We're gonna set up for the driving. We're gonna use the hybrid, where he is gonna use the electric motor and also the combustion engine. Here was the mode that we are able to experience the problem. Of course, we don't expect to have any issues with all the components new. The quick road test ended up very good as expected. We're gonna set off in a longer road test on the motorway before we conclude the final check on it. The extensive road test, it also has been completed, and we are at the stage where this car has to go out. But before, we want to have a recap and what we have understood out of it. Spread out on the bench is the rear axle with the electric motor and the rear diff mechanism. Now our problem, it was that one of the circlip broke, and we should have replaced, because of that, only the diff mechanism. Now because of this getting into the teeth of the mechanism, it broke the rotor, the pinion on the rotor. And the only way to fix this was to replace the whole lot, because look, this is actually part of the electric motor rotor. So this is not a separate component, and we had to replace everything. Key facts to take away: the repair can be done with second-hand parts, and there's no programming involved. Oil service is very important to be done, carried out around and every 50,000 miles. It does not take a lot of oil, but it's very important because those components get hot and the oil degrades. Also, in this mechanism here, there's like a clutch unit, so oil, very, very important. How much this repair costed, because in the end this is what it matters. And then let's see, we have some figures. So we had to replace the diff, which is this unit here, was coming with this mechanism, but then afterwards we also had to replace the electric motor. The electric motor, we had to top up, replace the oil, of course, and the cost of the labor. So let's see what it is. The first bit, the dear diff, was 1,550 plus VAT. Most of the time when there's an issue on Volvo with rear axle having problem, it's just that bit that fails. Now, because of our problem on the teeth, we had to replace the motor, and here is the big pain. 3,371 plus VAT. Oil, not very expensive, and that's why I said it has to be done every 50,000, and even lower mileage is absolutely fine. And the total cost, now what is involved in the labor is initial diagnostics. We've carried out a software update. Software update also is also recommended as a first step, and then obviously afterwards we have went through the process of stripping the vehicle, identify the part, the fault, replacing all the components, putting everything back, and road test the vehicle. And the total cost that we have charged the customer for this, it is 1,350 plus VAT, of course, here. So the total is going to come to 6,323. plus VAT and 50, but anyway, quite a painful amount. But again, this, it can be used as second-hand parts, because usually the motors, they don't really fail. In this situation, customer insisted for a new one. Obviously, if you can afford, it's better to have a new one. At least we have a new part. But this was the story with a Volvo. Had issues when he was changing from petrol to the electric mode. In the end, it turned up that the Diff was causing all this. We have now fixed it. The car is ready to go. And if you like the video, please don't forget to like it, comment if you want to know something more about the Volvo. Subscribe to my channel for more videos from the garages where we fix all type of cars, electric, hybrids, combustion engine cars, all type of cars. I will see you soon. Stay close. Bye for now.